The Tiger tank could literally drive underwater. Early Tigers had a 4-5 meter deep wading snorkel with an inflatable turret ring seal, allowing them to cross rivers that would stop other tanks. Japan actually bought a Tiger Y for study, but it was never delivered, and the undelivered tank was loaned back to the Wehrmacht. But why did crews fear their own tank more than enemy fire? How did a steering wheel end up in a tank? And what made Hitler personally intervene in its production? These are 20 weird facts about the Tiger tank that will blow your mind. Number 20. The underwater beast. The Tiger's deep wading system wasn't just impressive, it was terrifying for crews. That 4 to 5 meter snorkel meant driving blind underwater with only a compass for guidance. The inflatable seal around the turret had to be perfect, or water would flood in, drowning the crew. Drivers trained in special pools, but many refused to use it in combat. The system was so complex and dangerous that after building just 495 tanks, the Wehrmacht dropped it entirely in August 1943. Imagine sitting in a 57-ton metal coffin, underwater, hoping your rubber seal holds while enemy forces wait on the opposite bank. Number 19. Japan's Phantom Purchase. In 1943, Japan bought a Tiger IV to study German engineering, paying full price in advance. The tank was prepared, documented, even assigned for shipping. But it never left Europe. As Allied submarines made shipping impossible, the Wehrmacht borrowed Japan's Tiger and sent it to the Eastern Front where it was destroyed. Japan never got a refund. The irony: Japanese engineers waiting in Germany spent months studying the tank they'd never receive, taking notes that would influence their own heavy tank designs. Some historians believe this ghost transaction was deliberate. Germany needed the tank more than they needed to honor the sale. Number 18. The Immortal 131. Tiger 131 at Bovington is the only running Tiger Eye on Earth, but its capture story was wrong for decades. Museums claimed it was taken at Jebel Jaffa, but new research proved it happened at Gueriat El Attash, Point 174, Tunisia, on April 24, 1943. A British 6-pounder's solid shot jammed the turret ring, a 1 in a million hit that wedged between turret and hull. The crew bailed out, leaving behind a perfectly preserved Tiger. Today, 131 runs on special occasions, its Maybach engine still roaring after 80 years. Every other Tiger in museums worldwide sits silent, making 131 priceless. The tank's original battle damage is still visible, that lucky British shot immortalized in twisted metal. When 131 moves, it's not just a machine, it's the last living predator of its species. Number 17. The Exploding Defense System. Early Tigers carried 5 S-mine launchers mounted externally for 360-degree protection against infantry. Press a button inside, and these bouncing Bettys would launch into the air before exploding at waist height. The Tiger steered with an actual steering wheel like a car. This wasn't some crude setup either. The double differential transmission gave drivers 16 preset turning radii, 2 per gear, with a minimum turn of 3.44 meters in first. The wheel connected to a complex hydraulic system that could pivot the entire 57-ton tank in place when in neutral. Drivers loved it compared to the brutal lever systems of other tanks, but the complexity meant more things to break. American tank crews capturing Tigers couldn't believe it. They'd been wrestling with levers while Germans drove with power steering. The system was so smooth that experienced drivers could thread their Tiger through rubble-filled streets that would trap smaller tanks. Number 15. The pedal-powered turret. While drivers got a steering wheel, gunners controlled turret rotation with foot pedals. like a sewing machine of death. The hydraulic traverse speed increased with engine RPM, maxing out at over 30 degrees per second. But here's the genius part. The same system could crawl at 0.1 degrees per second for precise aiming. Gunners developed incredible foot control, making micro-adjustments while tracking targets. The pedals left hands free for the gun sight and firing controls. Veterans described it as playing a deadly organ, each pedal press bringing the massive 80mm gun onto target. This setup was so effective that gunners could track running infantry or fast-moving vehicles without their hands leaving the sight. The foot control became muscle memory. Survivors reported their feet twitching in their sleep decades later. Number 14. The 30-minute nightmare. For rail transport, crews faced a special hell, swapping to narrow 520mm transport tracks. This meant removing 8 outer road wheels per side, plus all the side skirts. The manual claimed 30 minutes per side. Reality, 2 to 4 hours in freezing cold or scorching heat, usually under threat of air attack. Each wheel weighed over 100 pounds, and everything was caked in mud or ice. Crews developed elaborate cursing rituals for this job. Miss reassembling one component correctly, and your Tiger derails, blocking an entire rail line. The Wehrmacht actually court-martialed crews who took too long, ignoring that the job required perfection under impossible conditions. Many veterans said they'd rather face T-34s than perform another track swap. The process was so hated that some units kept their Tigers on combat tracks and simply damaged the rail cars, accepting the punishment rather than endure the swap. Number 13. The frozen coffin syndrome. Those famous interleaved road wheels that gave the Tiger its smooth ride became death traps in winter. Mud would pack between the overlapping wheels during the day, then freeze solid overnight. Crews would wake to find their 57-ton tank literally frozen to the ground. The only solution: start the engine and rock the tank violently, hoping to crack the ice before the transmission gave out. Sometimes crews lit fires under the wheels or used explosives. In extreme cases, they'd run the engine all night, burning precious fuel to prevent freezing. The Soviets learned to attack at dawn, knowing half the Tigers would be immobilized. One veteran described spending 6 hours with a crowbar and hammer, chipping ice in 30-degree weather, while Soviet artillery crept closer. The overlapping wheels that made the Tiger so formidable in summer made it a sitting duck in winter. Number 12. The all-steel revolution. By 1944, rubber shortages forced Henschel to switch to all-steel road wheels. This accidentally solved the frozen wheel problem. Steel wheels allowed them to delete the outer row entirely, going from 24 to 16 wheels per side. Maintenance time dropped dramatically. No more marathon track swapping sessions, no more ice-locked wheels. But the steel wheels created new problems. They were louder, rougher riding, and wore out faster. The distinctive Tiger rumble became a roar. Allied soldiers could hear steel-wheeled Tigers coming from twice the distance. Still, crews preferred them. As one veteran put it, "I'd rather be loud and moving than quiet and frozen to the damn ground." The steel wheels marked late-war Tigers. If you see a museum Tiger with steel wheels, it survived until the desperate final months. Number 11. The comic book manual. The Tiger Fibel wasn't your typical military manual. It was part comic book, part pin-up calendar, filled with dirty jokes and cartoon violence. Why? Because crews actually read it. Traditional manuals were ignored, but everyone studied the Tiger Fibel. It featured a buxom blonde teaching maintenance, rhyming instructions, and tigers eating enemy tanks. Pages showed what happened if you screwed up. Cartoon crews burning alive or drowning. Dark humor, but effective. The manual's creator understood that bored 19-year-olds needed entertainment with their education. Sections had titles like How to Not Die Like an Idiot, Maintenance, and Making Ivan Cry, Combat Tactics. The Allies captured copies and couldn't believe it. Their manuals were dense technical documents, while Germans learned from dirty limericks. The Tiger Fibel was so successful that veterans could quote maintenance procedures verbatim 50 years later. Number 10. The wood-burning Tigers. Fuel shortages in 1944 created the most bizarre Tigers ever. Training versions converted to run on wood gas or town gas instead of petrol. These Holz gas Tigers had massive gas generators bolted to their rears, looking like someone strapped a moonshine still to a tank. Performance was pathetic, maybe 40% normal power, but they could train drivers without burning precious fuel. The wood gas system required constant feeding. A crew member literally shoveled wood chips while training. Town gas versions connected to municipal gas lines with huge hoses, tethering the Tiger like a massive metal dog. Imagine learning to drive the world's most feared tank while it's powered by burning wood or connected to a gas pipe. Some instructors preferred these neutered Tigers. Students couldn't accidentally achieve full power and crash through buildings. At least 12 were converted, though none survived the war. Before we reveal number 1, make sure to subscribe for more tank facts and drop a comment if any of these Tiger facts surprised you. Number 9. The production paradox. For all its fearsome reputation, only 347 Tigers were ever built between August 1942 and August 1944. That's it. The Soviets built that many T-34s in a week. This scarcity made every Tiger loss catastrophic. Compare that to 49,777 Shermans or 57,139 T-34s. The Tiger's complexity meant one factory, Henschel, slowly hand-building each tank. Monthly production peaked at 104 tanks, what Soviet factories built in a day. Hitler constantly demanded more Tigers, but production never significantly increased. The math was brutal. Lose one Tiger, wait 2 weeks for a replacement. Lose a Sherman, grab another from the thousands available. This rarity created the Tiger myth. Soldiers remembered every encounter because Tigers were so uncommon. When Allied intelligence estimated German tank strength, they'd count 20 Tigers in a sector that had 3. Fear multiplied Phantom Tigers across every front. Number 8. The Leningrad disaster. The Tiger's combat debut was a humiliation the Wehrmacht tried to hide. In August 1942, 4 Tigers were rushed to Leningrad before testing was complete. On September 23rd, they attacked. One broke down immediately. 2 others bogged in swampy ground. The crews hadn't been trained on the Tiger's ground pressure limits. The 4th reached Soviet lines, fired a few shots, then broke down. All 4 were abandoned or destroyed by their crews. The Soviets captured one intact, giving them their first Tiger to study. Hitler was furious, nearly canceling the entire program. The crews weren't told they were making history. They thought it was a routine attack. Instead, they handed Stalin a gift-wrapped Tiger and proved the tank's greatest weakness, mechanical reliability. The Wehrmacht suppressed all reports, but Soviet propaganda made sure everyone knew about the paper Tigers of Leningrad. Number 7. The engine evolution mystery. Mid-production, Tigers switched from the 650 EAP aluminum block HL210 to the 700 HP cast iron HL230, officially for more power. The truth? Aluminum shortages in cracking blocks. The HL210 couldn't handle the Tiger's final 57-ton weight. Blocks cracked, heads warped, engines died. The heavier cast iron HL230 was actually a downgrade in power to weight, but lasted longer. Here's the dirty secret. Many upgraded Tigers performed worse than early models. The iron engine added weight, ran hotter, and still broke down constantly. Crews preferred the aluminum engine when they could get it. The switch happened silently. Crews would receive a new improved Tiger that was actually heavier and barely more powerful. Maintenance units started swapping engines between tanks, creating hybrids. By 1944, nobody knew which engine was in which tank without checking. The vaunted German efficiency collapsed into mechanical chaos. Number 6. The bent turret secret. Every Tiger turret started as a massive flat steel plate, heated and bent into a horseshoe shape, not cast like other tanks. This bizarre manufacturing choice came from Krupp's naval armor experience. They could bend armor plate more easily than casting such large pieces. The bent turret created the Tiger's distinctive shape, but required incredible precision. Each turret took skilled workers days to form. The bending process actually strengthened the steel through work hardening. You can still see the seam where the horseshoe joined at the rear. This technique was so complex that bombing Krupp's bending presses would have stopped Tiger production cold. But Allied intelligence never figured it out. They bombed everything except the critical turret bending facility. The bent armor gave Tigers unusual resistance to certain impacts. Shells that would crack. Cast turrets sometimes bounced off the work-hardened bent steel. Number 5. The disappearing air cleaners. Early Africa Corax Tigers sported huge FIFO cyclonic air pre-cleaners, mechanical tornadoes that spun dust out before it reached the engine. These basketball-sized cylinders worked brilliantly in the desert, but in Europe, they were useless weight. The Wehrmacht deleted them in 1943, but crews kept bolting them back on. Why? They made perfect field stoves. Remove the internals, add a grate, and you could cook hot meals. Veterans joked that FIFOs heated more coffee than they ever cleaned air. Some crews mounted empty FIFOs just for cooking, leading to official orders banning non-functional equipment. Photos showing Tigers with asymmetric FIFOs, one reel, one stove, prove crews ignored the ban. The FIFO stoves became so popular that supply units started issuing purpose-built field stoves to stop crews from hoarding the precious pre-cleaners. Desert veterans kept their FIFO stoves through Italy and France, brewing coffee while their engines breathed unfiltered European air. Number 4. The Zimmerit Conspiracy. From 1943 to September 1944, Tigers received Zimmerit anti-magnetic paste to prevent magnetic mines from sticking. Then it vanished overnight. Official reason, unnecessary. Real reason, paranoia and chemistry. Zimmerit was basically cement mixed with sawdust, applied in distinctive wavy patterns. Rumors spread that it caught fire when hit. It didn't, but crews believed it. Some units scraped it off, others painted over it. Then chemists discovered that improperly mixed Zimmerit could trap moisture, causing rust beneath. Worse, application took days and special ovens to cure. The final insult? The Soviets never used magnetic mines on tanks. The entire program defended against a non-existent threat. But Zimmerit had one benefit. Each Tiger's pattern was unique, like fingerprints. Veterans could identify specific tanks in photos by their Zimmerit waves. Today, modelers obsess over recreating exact patterns from wartime photos, preserving each Tiger's identity in plastic. Number 3. The 16-speed nightmare. The Tiger's steering system offered 16 fixed turning radii, 2 per gear, through its complex transmission. Sounds advanced. It was hell. Drivers had to memorize which radius worked for each situation. Pick wrong, and you're stuck. The minimum 3.44 meter radius in first gear sounds tight until you're in a rubble-filled street. Higher gears gave wider turns but could stall the engine if too slow. The system required constant calculation: speed, gear, radius, terrain. Make a mistake and the transmission locked, immobilizing the tank. Veterans described driving Tigers like solving math problems while being shot at. The preset radii meant you couldn't adjust mid-turn, commit to a radius and pray. This complexity killed more Tigers than enemy fire in urban combat. Experienced drivers developed an almost mystical sense for which radius to select, but most Tigers died with inexperienced kids at the wheel who picked the wrong number and paid with their lives. Number 2. The training tank shortage. With only 1,347 built and massive combat losses, the Wehrmacht faced an impossible problem: how to train crews without Tigers. Their solution reveals the Tigers' true impact. They built wooden mock-ups on truck chassis for basic training. Panzer IIIs with cardboard boxes simulated the Tiger's size, but nothing replicated the Tiger's weight and complexity. New crews arrived at units having never driven a real Tiger. Their first experience was often their last. Combat. Veterans described teaching kids to drive Tigers while under fire. One instructor reported training a crew during a fighting retreat, shouting instructions while engaging T-34s. The lucky ones got maybe 3 days with a real Tiger before combat. Most got hours. This created a death spiral. Inexperienced crews lost Tigers faster, meaning fewer training vehicles, creating more inexperienced crews. By 1945, some Tigers were crewed by teenagers who trained on wooden mock-ups and died in the real thing within days. Number 1. Hitler's personal obsession. The Tiger existed because Hitler personally demanded it after encountering Soviet T-34s and KV-1s in 1941. He micromanaged everything: armor thickness, gun size, even the name. His interference nearly killed the program multiple times. Hitler demanded production before testing was complete, causing the Leningrad fiasco. He ordered constant upgrades that disrupted production. Henschel redesigned components while building tanks. His most insane demand? electric transmission for all Tigers. Despite it being overweight and unreliable, Ferdinand Porsche built 90 electric drive Tigers before the project collapsed. Hitler then insisted every Tiger carry his personal modifications: extra armor, larger guns, more ammunition. Each demand added weight, reducing reliability. Engineers begged for standardization, but Hitler kept meddling. He'd visit the factory, demand changes, then wonder why production dropped. His obsession created the Tiger's mystique, but also doomed it. Too heavy, too complex, too few. In the end, Hitler's perfect tank was perfectly impractical. The Tiger became everything he wanted and everything the Wehrmacht didn't need: an unreliable, over-engineered monster that looked invincible, but spent more time broken than fighting.